There he stood, his body bejeweled with all kinds of precious stones, dazzling in all its brilliance. But he did not create himself. The workmanship of thy tabrets and pipes, musical instruments were placed in thee in the day that thou wast created. He was an amazing creation. Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. He was an angel, the anointed cherub that covereth. Then he was not. For millennia, he was a cherub, then iniquity was found in him. As it's written, through thy merchandising, your trading and trafficking, iniquity was found in you, with a throne on earth, yet unsatisfied with just being in charge of the beings here. He wanted more. Then Lucifer said, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, the angels. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation, on the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. All said in his heart, but God heard him. Unfortunately, he would be cut down to the ground, to the depths of the pit. Pride always comes before a fall. Convincing a third of the angels, he plotted a coup in heaven that failed. The war was fierce, like lightning. He was cast out of heaven and doth weaken the nations on earth. Unremorseful, he mounted an insurrection with the beings on earth against God, not humans. Man isn't the first inhabitant on earth. We're just a little over 6,000 years old. The earth is billions of years old. At this point, Jesus had had enough. He destroyed their cities, took their light and their bodies from them. As it's written, I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens had no light. Birds fled, mountains and the wilderness lay desolate, no mankind there, and the cities were broken down at the presence of the Lord by his fierce anger. He killed them all, and they became disembodied spirits, what we know today as demons. Then he froze the earth and covered it with darkness and water. The Ice Age began. Millions of years after that incident, Genesis opened with the phrase, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Then the coup and war happened, and the earth became without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Then he said, let there be light, not sunlight, but the light of Jesus, and there was light. Now Satan, the fallen angels and demons were all free to roam the earth again. Then God made man. In time, Satan made man sin, and he was driven out of the garden. But God had a plan to save mankind alone. As man multiplied and replenished the earth, Satan had yet another nefarious but simple plan. Pollute mankind by getting the fallen angels to marry women so they give birth to half mankind, half angels. This was in the time of Noah. Then the unthinkable happened. It rained. The days of man would be 120 years, a reference to the time before the rains would begin. Then it poured. Tsunamis, water as high as mountains, killed all of mankind, half-breeds and creatures except 8 people, and selected animals locked in an ark. As for the fallen angels, they were all rounded up and incarcerated in chains of darkness in a place called Tartarus, one of the 3 compartments or regions deep within the earth. They are still there to this day. The bosom of Abraham and the land of the wicked dead are the other 2, one empty, the other very occupied. All this cataclysm began with pride. So be careful. Pride comes before a fall, and with it, collateral damage. What about the beings that were here before mankind, now known as demons or disembodied spirits? Fossils and archaeological finds are proof of their once physical existence. You can forget folklore and movies. Demons don't live in hell. No spirit being is there till after the white throne judgment. They live in the air and roam the earth. As it's written, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, the ancient ones, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places or the heavens, a reference to the air. That's their abode. The classification forms an organized hierarchical structure and network for Satan, who isn't all-knowing. The phrase, the rulers of the darkness of this world, is the word cosmocratorus. A better translation would be a boot camp. On his way to heaven after resurrection, is written of Jesus, having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a show of them openly, triumphing over them in it. Referred to as the prince of the power of the air, it was a fierce battle through Satan's kingdom or boot camp. Of course, Jesus had the victory. Roaming the earth includes the sea. When the floods occurred at the time of Noah, the disembodied spirits having nowhere else to be but in water formed alliances with the aquatic creatures. We live in a physical world, and the demons desire to feel a physical world again. They can take any form. Mermaids and the like are all just demonic manifestations. But make no mistake, they are real scary gigantic creatures made by Almighty God, resident in the depths of the ocean. Also referred to as the land of the dead, the depths of the sea is a whole new world with different thermocline creating variegated aquatic realms uncharted by man. Regardless of mythology and stories, a tail, horns, and pitchfork is just one of Lucifer's many manifestations. Be not deceived, he is still as beautiful as ever, yet he is and will always be known as the Fallen. The Hummingbird by Tete Body Lawson.